is the longest you can hold a belt for?
15, 20 seconds, something maybe.
Do you want to find out?
So you want me to belt now for
Yes.
20? Oh,
See how long?
Hey friends, today we're going to do another deep dive back into Tool. There have been some very keen fans of Tool in the comments section, and you have been heard loud and clear. The song that we're going to be diving into is the most popular request by far, The Grudge. I don't know anything about this song. Obviously, I've now somewhat familiar with Tool's catalogue. Eugene, who is behind the camera, has told me strictly that I'm not allowed to listen to any Tool because I need to react to it genuinely. So that is what I have done. All I know about this song, because you've told me in the comments, is that there's a really, really long sustained scream. Let's get into it. Okay, I'm like 3 songs into Tool, right? And I'm already going to be like, classic Tool. I have no idea about the meter. I was trying to find what the meter was, and then just as I thought I'd figured it out, the meter had changed again. Yep, classic. I noticed at the start of the song, there was this really weird sound effect, and it kind of made me feel like a spaceship was powering up and about to take off or something. I'm not sure what the intention was behind that, but it's like, oh, okay, game on, guys. Let's turn this thing on. All of the instruments as well have come straight in at the start. There's no slow build. There's no, let's introduce the bass, then the lead guitar, then the drums. It's everything all in straight off the bat, which has this kind of wall of sound effect. It really hits you. They've obviously introduced that riff, the it's a hypnotic sort of choice of riff. It's very simple. It's like a force within that's sort of driving you forward. Like a agitated version of a heartbeat or something like that. Almost like an angry heartbeat. So they introduced that theme, and I think there was suddenly a variation of the theme that kind of slightly varied it just before, and now we're getting into just, I think, a bass guitar version of the same riff. So they're really kind of building this tension. The title of the song's called The Grudge. I'm going to take a stab in the dark that a lot of this might be conjuring up a really good image of a grudge. It sounds really angry, like someone's holding on to something that they need to let go of. So that's really, really powerful instrumentation. If I can already hear that in the texture of the music without, and I'm only 36 seconds into this 8-minute song. That's pretty cool. I can hear speaking very faintly there.
Where the grudge like a crown, negativity, calculate what we will not tolerate, desperate to control all and everything, unable to forgive the scarlet letter.
Gosh, I actually love reacting to Tool because my finger is hovering over the pause button almost the entire time because I'm like, oh, there's something else I can talk about, there's something else. I need to be tasteful about this so as not to agitate people that are watching. By the time I pause, I'm like, what happened? There was so much just happened then. I'll circle to the vocal. Prior to Maynard doing his vocal entry, we have this very hypnotic sort of build in the instrumentation. The lead guitar and the bass guitar kind of seem to overlap in terms of their range, so they intertwine over the top of one another. And then finally Maynard comes in and he's also hitting just that same note, da-ba-da-da-da-da. I'm pretty sure it's the same note. And he doesn't do anything melodically. It's just almost, it's like spoken word but sung on that one particular note. So the style of Maynard's vocal and the way it's set vocally reminds me a bit of recitative in opera. Wear the grudge like a crown of negativity. I'm saying the words, I'm singing the words, not very well, but I'm singing the words in a rhythm that reflects the way we would speak them. Wear the grudge like a crown of negativity. Wear the grudge like a crown of negativity. And that style kind of originated in opera, actually. Basically, opera is either made of arias, where they sing these beautiful melodies, probably the things you're kind of familiar with. And in between those beautiful melodies, they have recitative, where they're literally just singing the dialogue just to move the plot forward. Where are you going? This sort of thing. So I hear that in Maynard, and I think it's really an interesting choice to keep it on that same note again. It makes it very pointed and angular and angry, really. There was some really cool drumming. There's always cool drumming. Can now start to say that, like classic Tool, cool drumming. Suddenly I think he was like hitting, and I'm not a drummer, so I'm not going to talk much about this, but like it sounded like he was hitting the edge of the kit to get a really like high kind of sound, like he was hitting the rim of the kit, which is just a cool effect. Danny is a master.
Danny.
What's that noise? Someone will tell me. That wow thing there. That's really cool. I kind of wish you guys were here right now so you could be like, oh, it's this. I hear a different timbre from the drums again. I kind of wonder if he's pulled out another thing that's separate from the kit. I'm not really sure. My face is kind of screwed up in a little bit of confusion, to be honest, when I'm listening to the band, because the lead guitar and the bass guitar are so enmeshed that it's really hard for me to distinguish who is doing what. It's unsettling to me, and I think that's a deliberate choice, because it's certainly evoking this sense of something's going to happen, something big's going to happen, I don't know what it is. Let's find out.
Clutching like a cornerstone, otherwise it all comes down. Justify denials, grip 'em to the lonesome love. Clutch it like a cornerstone, otherwise it all comes down. Terrified of being wrong, ultimatum prison cell. Saturn ascends, choose 1 or 10, hang on.
I really love Maynard as a singer. The more I'm hearing him, the more I'm just so intrigued about what he's doing as an artist. His diction is always just so incredible. I kind of don't really need the lyrics in front of me, although they are here. What he's done in terms of where to put the vocal line is he started, as I said before, on that same note where all of the instruments were, that sort of drone note. So he started there, and then from here he's moved up that clutch it like a cornerstone line. He's moved up a little bit in his register, and he's starting to add just a little bit more melody, a little bit of movement, not much. Clutch it like a cornerstone, otherwise it all comes down. Something like that. I'm listening to the studio recording, but I feel like if we were lucky enough to have a video of him recording this in the booth, he'd be singing this line through gritted teeth. He could sing it kind of neutral, clutching like a cornerstone, otherwise it all comes down. Yeah, it's very pretty. If he sings it with gritted teeth, clutch it like a cornerstone, otherwise it all comes down. Justify denials, or whatever it is. You can feel this pent-up emotion that's probably going to explode, given that we have 6 minutes left in this song. Let's keep going.
Saturn ascends, choose 1 or 10, hang on or be humbled again. Humbled again.
So there was a really long sustained note coming from the lead guitar that actually almost overpowered Maynard's vocal, which I think is, again, an interesting choice that often doesn't happen. Usually the vocal line is so deliberately set in a way that it's clear, and the other lines in the band don't overlap in order to make sure the vocal line is the really obvious focal point. Here, again, I'm starting to realise it's probably a classic mark of Tool. Maynard is literally just another one of the instruments. He is not the lead vocalist, he is an instrument, and he is intertwining with the rest of the band, which is really cool.
Crushing like a cornerstone, otherwise it all comes down. Justify denials and grip 'em to the lonesome man. Saturn ascends, comes round again. Saturn ascends, the one, the ten. Ignorant to the
So I was right, I guess. I said he was gritting his teeth and I knew that he was holding in some emotion and he was going to let it rip at some point, and he's obviously starting to. That's cool. That's really, really cool. Obviously, it's just a beautiful way of representing the lyrics that he's written and slowly adding more colour and emotion to them. What I like as a singer is, and as someone who reads a lot into lyrics because it's the way I get to add colour to songs. He said the same line 3 or 4 times already. So clutch it like a cornerstone, otherwise it all comes down. That was before, and then he's brought it back in suddenly with a lot more volume and a lot more power and a little bit of distortion, I think. And I also wonder if he's probably doubled his vocal in terms of production here to add another layer of oomph behind the vocal line, which is probably why I was like, whoa! But he's said this same line so many times, clutch it like a cornerstone, but he's managed to colour it and bring something new to that same line every single time, which has made me think of it differently every single time, which I think is really clever writing of the vocal line. So before, like I said, clutch it like a cornerstone, I was thinking he's gritting his teeth. You can almost feel like he's literally hanging on to this grudge, clutch it like a cornerstone. Clutch it like a cornerstone, otherwise it all comes down. You know, I'm not going to let go of this grudge. But later it was very different. I kind of want to hear it again.
Crush it like a cornerstone, otherwise it all comes down.
Yeah, here I feel like he's just going to punch me in the face, basically. So before he was like, I'm thinking about, like, I'm holding onto the grudge, I'm not going to do anything, I'm hanging onto it, but I'm about to flip my lid. And now I feel like the punch in the face, the knockout punch, is imminent. It's either happening or he's about to do it. It takes a lot of skill as a vocalist to be given the same text and have to bring something different to it every single time, and I think he's a master at that. So here I think there's definitely some doubling of the vocal happening. He's gone and said the same lyrics that he opened with, the wear the grudge like a crown of negativity. And at the start it was almost spoken, but it was on that same drone note that the guitars were driving forward. Here it's very spoken to me. I feel like it's a scene in Fight Club or something, and like everyone's just shouting at one another. It's really powerful. I'm also intrigued by this new line, Desperate to control all and everything, unable to forgive these scarlet lettermen. Scarlet lettermen. I don't know exactly what that means. I know there was a time, I think in history, like where women, when they committed adultery, they'd be given a scarlet like letter or something that they had to wear as a sign that they sinned or whatever. So scarlet letter men. I'd be curious to know what you think that means. Maybe the men that give the lady the scarlet letter. So the men that put the woman through that awful thing. So you're holding on to the grudge and you're unable to forgive these piece of shit guys that have maligned you, I suppose. Cool line.
Like a crown, desperate to control, unable to forgive, and sinking deeper, defying it, confining it, sinking deeper, controlling, defying it, and we're sinking deeper.
Just when I feel like I've gotten a handle on where this song is going, it goes in another completely unforeseen direction. So everything thematically here is completely different. If it were a classical piece, it's a new movement. The drumming's different. It's like a brighter timbre in the drums. The vocal's different. He's just got random verbs, defining, confining, sinking, controlling, defining, sinking, which I think is interesting, is like a little bit less able to string his words together. If you think about when you're angry, are you really very good at putting together how you're feeling? Probably not. So I feel like we're getting angrier, and that's very much conveyed by the choice in the lyric writing here, which I think is, again, really cool. Yeah. Okay, I had to do my reaching in to listen even closer because he was so far down in the mix there, Maynard. It's obviously a choice. An interesting one, a really interesting one. Yeah, this band really blows my mind with the decision to make the vocalist just another instrument. What does that mean? Why is he doing that?
I never know.
I'll never know. And that's the power of Tool. Maybe I'll never know. And we can keep speculating and going into deep, deep analyses and we'll still never know. To me, it's like a schoolyard taunt or like a Fight Club sort of situation where people are just shouting. Saturn comes back around to show you everything. Da, 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 da. So lots of talk of Saturn. Someone will know. Tell me what is this reference to Saturn? Love it. Such good word painting. Obviously, so much anger. Then we get to this moment where he literally says, it's going to consume you until you choose to let this go. And then on those magical words, let this go, everything in the instrumentation and the vocal completely shifts to this beautiful, ethereal kind of quality. And his vocal suddenly shifts from being like really forward, taunting, almost forward resonance to be Saturn comes back around, like really He shifted that and suddenly choose to. No vibrato as well, really stripped it back. Again, reminds me of that Gregorian chant thing that I heard in Push It. Got it back again, that thing. He's got such amazing control of his instrument to be able to just shift that so quickly as well. He was literally basically shouting before, and now he's just choose to let this go. Really, really cool. That pew sounds like the spaceship is back. Whatever that is, whatever that interesting thing is. Don't know what that's about. Someone will tell me. So we've had this interesting shift, like we had that beautiful let this go, clean, pure vocal quality there. And then we've gone back to that angry kind of forward placement, tight, constricted sort of sound. And then he said the same line twice and he's added even more volume and more power to it. So I think it's interesting. I guess maybe it's like about that push and pull between when you're holding a grudge, you, on some level at some point you do know that it's almost killing you. So you have that moment where you maybe think, you know what, maybe I need to let this go in order to move on. But that's a bit scary because then you're going down an unknown path of having to be in charge of your own destiny and not being able to blame it on someone else by holding a grudge. So I kind of feel like maybe what's happening here is there's that moment of thinking about letting it go and then it's like, but I'm not ready yet. I want to stay with my grudge. And this is the first time he actually says the word grudges, right? Back to the theme from the start. What cool drumming. How long was that?
I think it was 28 seconds.
28
maybe.
seconds?
Maybe. So you got, that's what you did.
What was that? 26?
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Ah. All right, there you go.
Cool.
Yeah, obviously incredible breath control, but what moves me more is what led to that point in how it's the climax of the song and how I know that there's a huge justification for it in terms of the lyrics and where the song was leading up to this point. It's just so clever. Like, there was a build leading us to this point. We're all waiting for this person to let go of this grudge. You can feel this turbulence in the music, the return of that theme at the start of that angry grudge. And it kept on building until we just get this explosion, this 26-second harsh vocal explosion and feat of amazing breath control. So, it's just so cool. It's just such cool writing. I don't think I've seen a modern rock band that has so many movements within each song, meaning that there are different musical themes, there are different lyrical themes. All of these things remind me very much of classical music, where it was sort of designed to be digested in much larger, lengthier chunks. Really amazing use of instrumentation to kind of evoke and word paint the sentiment of the lyrics and the meaning of the lyrics. And I don't think I can think of any other band that does that to this extent. It's really, really cool. I mean, surely music historians are talking about Tool already. Like, seriously, that's just... There's so much to talk about. They'd be having a field day. They'd be like, oh, this is reminiscent of J.S. Bach. Like, it's just so cool. So cool. All right, well, so he's just done his 26-second scream. There's still a minute and a half to go. Is there anywhere to go beyond here? Like, can they take it further? Can they? I don't know.
We shall see.
We shall see. Let go, let go. Okay, I've got 10 seconds to go. Terrible place to stop. It's really cool that there's that it's very low in the mix. There's that just repeated chant of let it go, 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 let it go. It's almost like that guy's inner monologue, you know, what he needs to say to himself in order to help extract himself from this all-consuming grudge. Wow, every time I listen to a new Tool song, I respect them more and more. That was phenomenal. I'm starting to notice, I guess, common themes. The band seemed to be really interested in this idea of like a drone, like having one singular note that is the anchor for the entire melody and the entire structure of the piece. Like, everything kind of just comes back to that main drone note, which I think is really a bit unique in it's what makes this particular piece and Push It, which I've heard as well, feel a bit hypnotic at times. That drone, that singular note. The other thing I think really interesting is the way he's always so low in the mix, and he's just one of those instruments. He's not unique. He's not meant to be the lead singer. He's literally just one of the instruments. And of course, stating the obvious, 28-second long scream. Amazing. Thanks for the recommendation, guys. Tool is continuing to blow my mind. If you have any more recommendations, please write them in the comments. We do read every single one of them, and we take them quite seriously. We kind of tally everything up and work out what's the most popular request. And please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, because that's what helps keep this channel going. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.